From the Northway Bank Online Newsroom, I'm Gare McKenzie. This local and regional news update is brought to you by Northway Bank. Get big savings close to home with Northway Bank's Community Sense digital coupon book, filled with valuable money-saving coupons from hundreds of Northway Bank business customers. Visit northwaybank.com for more info. Northway Bank with 17 locations throughout New Hampshire. The people you know, the bank you trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. New Hampshire Governor Maggie Hassan has ordered flags be flown at half-staff around the state, and the tributes continue as people learn of the passing of longtime Executive Councilor Ray Burton of Bath, who died at his home early yesterday morning. Hassan and other government officials, including U.S. Senators Jeanne Shaheen and Kelly Ayotte of New Hampshire and former Governor John Lynch, recently honored Burton for his years of service at the dedication of a scenic overlook near the Mount Washington Hotel. New Hampshire's longest-serving councilor, Burton announced prior to the event his cancer had returned and he would not run for re-election as councilor. Longtime Conway Town Manager Earl Sires responded to the news of Burton's passing this way.
I have worked in 4 different states over 25 years in government and worked with hundreds of government officials, and I can't think of anyone that exemplifies what it means to be a public servant more than Ray did. He'll be missed, and it will be very, very difficult to replace his service for the state.
Sires repeated what he said when he first learned a few weeks ago Burton was ill, that Burton was the, quote, go-to guy when the town needed something, and he was always helpful and responsive. Burton, a Republican, was first elected to the council in 1977, and other than in 1980, had been re-elected every 2 years since then. Memorial Hospital in North Conway is celebrating its new Miranda Center for Diabetes and Endocrinology. The center is named after Miranda Levitt, who died at the age of 22 from complications of diabetes. The daughter of Brenda and Richard Levitt of Freiburg, Maine, Miranda was an advocate about the disease. In 2008, her parents started the Miranda Levitt Diabetes Fund, a nonprofit focused on education and funding those who need help managing their diabetes. Dr. Ray Rabideau, Chief Medical Officer at Memorial, says diabetes has been on the rise since the 1990s and related to increased levels of obesity, including in children. He says the hospital has had its diabetes center for some time, but recognized the increase as a kind of epidemic nationally and locally and decided to expand its service and community education efforts to help people with the chronic illness optimize their quality of life. That expansion includes 2 nurse practitioners who will now guide patients in their care and other specialists. He says the center has partnered with the Levitt family on what he calls a quest.
We had become aware increasingly of the presence of Brenda Levitt and her husband in their quest to educate the community in terms of diabetes care and diabetes prevention. And it seemed like a wonderful symbiotic relationship for us to get together and talk about how we can, in a communal way, have a better impact on education, prevention, and treatment in the Valley.
Rabideau says the hospital will even provide free diabetes screenings. The public's invited to a ribbon cutting for the new diabetes center this afternoon at 12:30 on the 2nd floor of the Bigelow building, the white building near the front of the hospital's campus at 3073 White Mountain Highway. The Levitt family will be there, and hospital staff will be available to talk about the center in November as Diabetes Awareness Month. For more information, call the hospital at 603-356-5461. In Maine news, U.S. Senator Angus King is directing Mainers and other residents to an alternative website reviewing insurance plans under the federal health care overhaul. The independent senator recommends consumers use the healthsherpa.com, while the federal website healthcare.gov continues to experience glitches. Healthcare.gov, where consumers can go to view insurance plans and buy coverage under the Affordable Care Act, has experienced technical difficulties since it launched October 1st. King says the alternative website allows consumers to compare the plans offered in 34 states, including Maine. While residents can't buy coverage on the healthsherpa.com, they're directed to private insurance sites where they can enroll. King says it's a temporary alternative until the federal government resolves the problems with healthcare.gov. In sports, Conway's 25-year-old Olympian has once again been named to the A team of the U.S. Alpine Ski Team. Leanne Smith and Olympic gold medalist Bodie Miller of Franconia were introduced Friday as two of 54 members of the 2014 team in Copper Mountain, Colorado, in front of a cheering crowd of thousands. George Washington rolled past Maine 108-81 last night in college basketball. In the weather today, mostly sunny, highs in the upper 20s, lower 30s in southern Carroll County. Northwest winds around 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight, lows around 18, lower 20s in southern Carroll County with light winds. And mostly sunny Thursday, highs in the lower 40s. From the Northway Bank Online Newsroom, I'm Gary McKenzie.